was pretty impressive. And so him being a SEMO guy, his wife being a SEMO girl, and just seemed right. And when we got together and we talked ball, and it just felt right too. He's an unbelievable person. His family's going to be just like what we want. They're going to be invested in our community. They're going to, add a lot of value not only to our program but our community too. So I'm super excited about it.
Not only is he a member of SEMO's family as an alum at Southeast Missouri State, but also, I mean, he's from Southeast Missouri, Bonne Terre. I mean, he went to North County High School. He's probably the greatest player they ever had at North County High School.
I know it. And he used to be a head coach, which I loved. So you got one more guy in the building that understands there's a lot to winning and losing. It's not just all about ball, and he gets that part too.
All right, now he was at Colorado Mesa. That's where Russ Martin is, and some of the numbers offensively and where they rank nationally at the Division II level were off the charts.
Yeah. Did a great job, and I think the reason he was able to do that, he had a mobile quarterback, a lot of what we call RPOs, where it's design runs, but they could throw it too. So it just puts a lot of stress on defense. To be able to stop the run, you got to do a lot of one-on-ones out there, and you can give up some yardage in a hurry.
I think people who have been longtime fans of SEMO football remember the name Russ Martin. I mean, those were the days when Jack Tomko was throwing to Willie Ponder, and they had Curtis Cooper and Dan Conley and Eugene Amano. I mean, there was some real talent on offense back when Russ Martin was here.
Yeah, that's what I liked about Jeremy too, because it kind of connected me to that era of SEMO football, because really that was a good stretch there.
And
they had some good
8-win season there, yeah.
And so I love that part too. He's able to connect with some of his teammates and bring it back into the program a little bit.
All right, let's talk about your recruiting class. Obviously you had the big recruiting party. What did you feel overall from this year's recruiting class? And, of course, everybody always wants to hear about quarterbacks.
Yeah. We lost 12 seniors, so we knew it wasn't going to be a big class. We wanted to make sure we got depth in the secondary. Ended up signing 5 DBs. But, we had to answer that quarterback question and make sure that we had plenty of competition. Competition makes – everybody better. And so we really needed to do that. We wanted to bring in 2. So we took a junior college kid out of California who's never gotten a B in his life, and just top shelf people. His dad trains fighter pilots. In fact, when Pyle took his visit, I talked to his dad in Israel. And his dad was training fighter pilots.
In Israel.
Both mom and dad are lifetime military people, and so I kind of fell in love with the family, then obviously fell in love with the film and all that, and feel great about him. And then we got Daniel Santacanarina from Northern Illinois, which I have a connection with. I coached his brother, and it's a situation where at quarterback, it's hard because if all of a sudden you lose that starting position, they're hard to get back.
Yep.
And that's kind of what happened. And he wanted a new start and loved the opportunity that we had, and so excited about him. He also comes from just a top shelf family up in Chicago, and so I think those 2, along with Cooper, will have a good answer when it's all said and done. What's different is you don't have to just rely on Jesse's arm like we did. We're going to be able to run other plays where he could be running it and take off, or running it and then throw it. And that just puts a lot of stress on defense. And plus, if protection breaks down, it's not a sack automatic. If protection breaks down, he can make a play with his feet, whoever that quarterback is.
And you got to see plenty of that firsthand, Coach, because we see a lot of those dual-threat quarterbacks in the OVC. I mean, that's one of the things that turned Austin Peay around. They didn't used to have that type of an offense, but all of a sudden they do. They've got better athletes, and look what they did.
Yeah, so if you're not quite as good up front yet, as you're building that program, a mobile guy is going to be able to get you out of some of that trouble.
Because do you think it's a fair statement to say, and no one's indicting one side of the ball or special teams, defense, offense, whatever, but is it a fair statement to say you've had a playoff caliber defense the last few years? That's how good your defense has really been.
Yeah, I think we've been able to do some things. I still think we could get a lot better. We did give up some explosive plays. We got to get better there, but point-wise, it's gotten better every year. And then, I think we're in every game, even though we didn't score a lot of points and a lot of 3-and-outs and stuff like that. So I think, we're good enough on defense. But
and a lot of times, would you say it is a fair statement also to say that maybe, if the offense maybe gave you a little more breathers at times, and it's not an indictment on the offense, but if you had a little more time on the sideline versus, 3-and-out, the defense is back out there, it may have been a different story on that side of the ball.
Yeah, you bet. I think obviously the point total and then our kicking game was an issue. There were some great things about last year in the kicking game, but there's some blocked kicks that really affected winning and losing. And so we gotta solve that also.
All right, so strengthening the defensive secondary, that was your biggest priority going in with the recruiting class?
Yep. And then offensively, it was about quarterback, and then from there it was all about depth. Feel good with the overall class. I like the body of work, not only from a football standpoint, from academic standpoint. We really wanted to make sure guys were going to have a chance to be successful in the classroom also.
Coach Tom Matukowicz, football coach at SEMO, is our guest. And again, we want to remind everybody the Kids Clinic is coming up, and it's going to be, what, Coach, did you say noon?
10 to noon.
10 to noon.
Then a free lunch afterwards.
Okay, so 10 to noon. It's going to be at Houck Stadium. It's free. You get a T-shirt, free lunch, and this is for girls and boys.
Yep. And you can go online and sign up with that. I've been busy on football part, so Phil Lady's the guy. He's done a great job, and so if you have any question, he's going to be able to direct you a lot better than I am.
All right, and also as we approach spring ball, how are things going to go for you now? Spring ball starts today. I believe April 14th is the spring game. So take us through what you're going to be doing with the players and what the players are going to be doing starting today.
Well, we're in an in-season schedule, so we actually get them 20 hours a week, and so we're actually like an in-season phase. So we practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. We'll practice Saturday mornings. If people want to come out and watch, we'll have officials and be a lot more scrimmaging. And then they live Tuesday, Thursday, and watch film Tuesday, Thursday. And so they got to handle that grind, and that's part of the process. Is we need to know who can handle the grind of 20 hours on football plus academics, social life, all these things that you got to be able to handle, and then just trying to stay healthy. We signed 22 guys, so in the fall we get 22 more. Right now we got to manage without the seniors that for depth wise and all that.
And as far as the season itself, I wanted to touch on the schedule just a little bit. I'm thinking like 04. I mean, it's been a long time since SEMO has played Arkansas State. In football, we play them in baseball every year. We've played them in basketball several times over the years, but it's been a long time since we played Arkansas State in football. And this is the premier team in the Sun Belt Conference. I mean, they're winning championships every year.
Yeah, this was a game I really wanted to play. I don't think Brady wanted to play it, so I think it got done before Brady because they don't pay like Mizzou.
Yeah.
But man, like if you're a fan or you're a father or of a kid around here, you can go there and travel. They're 2.5 hours away. You get to. Plus, I was around when they were terrible.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, and they had no facilities. I want our fans to see it.
They've got an indoor practice facility now.
Yeah, I want our administration to go see what they have now and what compared to what we used to be, and I think there'd be some good lessons there. I'm excited about that game. I mean, I know they're good, but it's not like a Power 5 team either.
Yeah.
And so It's local, and it's going to be a great game for us. I'm excited about it.
They can't be any better than Southeastern Louisiana was, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And you beat them. They were ranked third in the nation. And then the latest scheduled news is in 2019, you've added Montana State to the schedule. Tell us about that.
That's a game where we actually play 12 games, and so we're looking at a game, and we want to make sure we play FCS opponent. When you look at the playoffs, that's what they consider. Basically, everything falls on that unless you're undefeated. You know how many wins you have against Division I teams, and so create an opportunity to go up there and take a flight, so which will be fun for our kids and all that.
It's a little different than like the basketball team. You know, they got 14 players and a few coaches. How many would you travel on a game like that? How many guys are going through the airport with you?
There'll be 75 players and 25 staff or whatever. But
that's a big traveling part.
Bruce Loy on the spot, because I was told we're going to fly out of Cape.
That's tremendous.
Because if we don't fly out of Cape, Bruce Loy's getting a phone call that's going to be three-wayed in with Barkey, because if we have to go up to St. Louis, fly there, fly back to St. Louis and drive home, you don't want to sit next to me on the bus. I can tell you that. I'll be growly.
Let me tell you, that's the way the basketball team does it. They bus up to St. Louis and out. So that's good, though. I mean,
because
when the women's basketball team, they went to 2 NCAA tournaments. And when we went to the tournament, one time it was in Denver and one time it was in Austin, Texas, and we flew out of Cape. It was tremendous.
Yeah. We got a tremendous airport here.
Yeah.
There's no reason that you shouldn't. When I was at SIU, we flew out of Marion. We were praying every time it took off and landed. And we got a way better airport.
Yeah. I've flown out of Marion as well. So, Montana State now, I've been to the University of Montana. That's in Missoula, but Montana State. Have you ever been to Montana State?
No, I'm the same way. I took a professional beating in Montana when we're at SIU one game.
Boy, that's a good program.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. And what a facility they have.
They do have nice.
And I guess the Bobcats they have a great facility too, and they're not quite Montana right now, but it's going to be fun for us.
I'm going to say maybe a dozen years ago, the basketball team was playing in a tournament at the University of Montana basketball. On the same weekend, they were hosting Western Illinois in a playoff game. So, it was an afternoon game, and we had an evening basketball game. So I walked over and went to a playoff game in Missoula. Wow, you talk about football atmosphere, right?
Man, they do a great job. You look up on the hill or on the mountain up there, and it's gorgeous. And you can always tell what kind of fans, if they're educated. If it's third down, they wait. Some educated fans start screaming and all that, but they wait until right when they could tell the quarterback's about ready to do something, then they erupt, and they really affected the game. But it was fun.
So that'll be in 2019. Redhawks will be playing Arkansas State in the upcoming season. And again, spring drills start today. And again, Coach, tell us one more time about the Kids Clinic. It's coming up this Saturday. It's absolutely free. Yeah, we're going to scrimmage from 8 to 10, so come out. That'll be our first live action. We'll have officials. We won't be driving the ball and everything, but you'll get to see the new offense and some things like that. And then afterwards, we're going to have some drills with kids from 10 to noon, and then there's going to be a free lunch. And it's just going to be a great Saturday. Get it all done in the morning. You can still golf in the afternoon or whatever. This dang Missouri weather, though. It's unbelievable. 70 one day and 38 the next. What's going on? It's sadistic. This is painful what we're going through right now. Well, I know you're excited with spring drills going on. Everybody's excited. Football season just seems like it's right around the corner. Tomorrow's the first day of spring. This is the last day of winter. Perfect. Well, I'm excited. All right. Thanks so much. Great to catch up with you. Hopefully a great turnout on Saturday for the youth clinic. You bet. I appreciate it. That is Coach Tom Matukowicz, Redhawks football coach. And we are going to talk baseball when we come back from this commercial break. Coach Andy Sawyers for the Redhawks is here. SEMO has won its second straight weekend conference series. They sit at 4-2 in the OVC. So we'll talk it over with Coach Andy Sawyers when we come back. It's the Redhawks Coaches Show. We're at Wings Etc. in Cape on SEMO ESPN.
Jumbo wings and an ice-cold schooner while you watch great sports programming on huge flat screens at Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. If you love wings and a whole menu of great food and drink options, come to Wings Etc. for lunch, dinner, late-night drinks and snacking, and lots of HDTV sports. And now, when you can't eat, drink, and watch the game here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub, good food, great times, and online ordering at togo.wingsetc.com.
Hi, I'm a consumer with money. Well, not lots of money. I am married.
Hey!
But what I'd like to say is, businesses, you should advertise right here on this radio station where thousands of product-hungry consumers are listening.
Have you seen my purse, hon?
Especially my Shops a Lot other half.
Oh, is that right, Mr. Overspends?
To make your advertising more effective, check online for local radio station information. Product-hungry consumers are standing by.
Go online to SEMOadvertising.com.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
We're watching showers and storms this morning in eastern Oklahoma and Kansas that will march our way. Showers, a few thunderstorms possible today, high 56. Cloudy with showers tonight, low 36. A rain shower early tomorrow with clouds 46. Back to sunshine at midweek with Wednesday's high 51. Richard DeWethick at the Weather Channel.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network. This is your local home for Mike and Mike, the Sports Huddle, and all your favorite teams. Get it all right here.
This makes my day go great.
On the SEMO ESPN Sports Network.
It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show, live from Wings Etc. Restaurant. We are in Cape Girardeau. We'll be back in the Jackson location next week, so make sure you join us then. Mondays at 12 noon, all throughout the spring, our spring edition. And we want to remind you that on Mondays, those award-winning jumbo wings here at Wings Etc. are just 69 cents. 69-cent wings on Mondays, so make plans to either join us for lunch or later on today. And obviously, as the NCAA men's basketball tournament is underway, this is the home for men's basketball tournament action. You can see everything on their high-definition screens. Got some spring training baseball going on. You can watch Cardinal spring training baseball as well. It is your home for all of the great sporting events. It's Wings, etc. And in addition to the great wings that they've got here, if you'd like to branch out, their freshly made burgers are terrific, and they've got a lot of them. They've got an entire burger section just on the menu. They have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, if you want to go that route, smoked ribs and more. Their appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos. And if you're coming for lunch, daily half-pound lunch specials start at just $6.49, so less than $7. You can start hitting some of those daily half-pound lunch specials. It's Wings, etc. Good food, great times. Let's talk baseball with the Red Hawks head baseball coach, Andy Sawyers. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing a little better than I was a week ago with another series win. So we got back last night, and we're getting ready to leave today for Springfield. We got Missouri State tomorrow, so kind of in the middle of preparations for them and scouting reports and all that stuff. But I'm glad to be here today.
Okay, now you've been in some bigger programs. Have you ever played at Missouri State? They play in a Double-A ballpark.
Haven't played there at Hammond's. We've played them at our place before, but have played them with Nebraska and played them with Kansas State, but never actually made the trip to Springfield. So it'll be my first time there.
Yeah, really nice yard. Obviously, the Double-A Cardinal affiliate is there in Springfield. So that'll be tomorrow, a 3 o'clock first pitch. Let's recap your weekend at UT Martin. First of all, you go over there thinking, okay, are we going to get the game in? You move the start time from 6 o'clock to 3 o'clock on Friday to get the series underway. So already kind of a minor schedule disruption there before you even threw a pitch.
Yeah, we made that decision the day before, so that wasn't that big of a deal. We usually travel to Martin the day of, and so we had to change our depart time a little bit, get over there earlier in the day. But did change the first pitch time because of rain on Friday, but that was a good decision because it did rain. They had some hail, and a pretty significant storm came through Friday night, so we're glad we made that decision. And we gave up a 5 spot in the first on Friday. That's kind of been our bugaboo, is giving up big innings early in games, and we gave up a 5 spot in the first. And after that, we really outplayed them the rest of the entire weekend. If we could have got that first inning back, I feel like we would have swept. But, you don't get anything back. And after being down 5-0 in the first, we came back and really outplayed them the rest of the game. Got beat 8-7, and then blew them out on Saturday 17-1, and then had an emotional game on Sunday where we had a lead for the entire game. Then they hit a big home run in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. Then we hit an even bigger home run in the top of the 9th to take the lead back, and it was a pretty emotional game on Sunday. It was a big win for our young men. They've needed a win like that. We've had some games where we felt like we should have won but lost, and then it was nice to take to kind of pull victory from the jaws of defeat a little bit on Sunday. So that was a pretty excited bus ride home from Martin, Tennessee yesterday.
I was going to say, I don't even think it's debatable, right? I mean, that's clearly the biggest win of the year was yesterday.
It was, and it was funny. I sat down last night because I wanted to see how the rest of the teams in the conference played and how they finished up, and below the standings, we're 4-2, and below the standings, there's the conference stats, and I hadn't looked at those yet, like in comparison. And we're sitting with the third best batting average in the league. We're the fourth best pitching staff. We're the second best fielding percentage. You look at the numbers, you'd think we're having a pretty darn good year, but our wins and losses don't match that. And winning is not a compilation of statistics. Winning is about doing the right thing at the right time and making, have a chance to get the swing off when you need it or make the play when you need it. And we haven't been great at that. Our non-conference record was not good at all. But when I looked at the pieces last night for the first time, I hadn't really looked at the conference website. Obviously I look at our stats every day, but I hadn't looked at the conference website. It made me feel better about our pieces. It's like, wow, we're actually stacking up pretty good in comparison by the numbers. Our job, and especially my job as the coach, is to get them to play right together and get them the pieces in the right situations. And we've completely flipped our pitching staff. We thought we were going to have an elite bullpen with some strike-throwing starters, and now we're starting 2 of our 3 bullpen guys. We moved Carlos Vega, our closer, to our Sunday starter yesterday, and that worked out well. Christian Vick, who we thought was going to be our setup man, he's now going to be our Friday night starter this coming weekend. So we're kind of in moving those guys around and trying to get them to the right spots and giving us the best chance to be successful. And with so many new players, it's been a learning experience for us as coaches, trying to get all the pieces in the right places, and also for our players, getting them to used to Division I baseball. But I think Sunday, the best thing that we were able to see is we responded for the first time. We've played well and lost and not had a chance to respond. We had a lead that we lost in the 8th inning on Wednesday at Central Arkansas, and we didn't mount anything in the 9th. We weren't able to punch back. So we were down to our last strike there on Sunday, and have a chance. Tristan Gagnon gives a really professional at bat to give us a chance, and then the big man gets a change up that stays up and is able to hit it out to dead center field. So that was just really good for our young men to respond the way they did through the adversity on Sunday afternoon.
Boy, Tristan Gagnon, I don't know if he's going to be the Ohio Valley Conference Baseball Player of the Week, likely, unless someone else has had this monster week, because not only did he have a big weekend with 8 RBIs, but he went 5 for 9 with a jack and 2 RBIs against Central Arkansas. So clearly right now, Tristan Gagnon, who gave you a 2-out, 2-strike single, which set up the Justin Durden home run. Durden doesn't even bat if Gagnon doesn't get on, but clearly the hottest hitter in your lineup right now is Tristan Gagnon, with Chase Erhan probably not far behind, right?
Yeah, actually, if you just look at the hits, Chase is actually getting more hits than Tristan is right now, but Tristan is driving everybody in. And I thought this was a really big week for Tristan. Tristan had 6 RBIs on Saturday with a triple in the right field corner and a double to right center. And that's kind of what his kind of growth and maturation as a hitter was. He used to be pull everything, right? And if you made mistakes, he could really hurt you. But if you executed pitches, you could get him out. And what you're seeing right now out of Tristan is just him growing up as a hitter and not having to pull everything. He hits the ball in the corner for 3 RBI triple and then goes backside gap on Saturday for 6 RBIs. Didn't pull a baseball to drive in 6 runs. And then we're down to our last strike with a really soft throwing left-hander. It was interesting. Stoner, who just killed us all weekend, Stoner gets the same shot Gagnon gets. He's one swing away from tying the baseball game in the 9th, and just completely changes his approach and bails on what he's trying to do and gets 3 bad swings off against Aaron Stretch. And Tristan didn't do that. Tristan, again, same at bat, soft throwing left-hander. Tristan stays on the ball, hits the ball back through the middle, and then gives Durden a chance for the 2-run home run. So what you're seeing out of Tristan is him just growing up as a hitter and becoming a complete, mature hitter, which, he was good last year. He hit home runs, and he led us on RBIs, but you're starting to see him kind of become an elite-level run producer. And I think he's at the top. If he's not leading the OVC in RBIs, he's in the top 2 or 3.
He is.
And for we play in a significantly different park than like Tennessee Tech does and things like that. So if we have got a young man at SEMO who's leading the league in RBIs, you know that he's not getting a lot of cheap home runs and things like that. So he really is kind of turning himself into what I would really classify him as an elite level run producer right now.
Let me ask you something here. You have seen plenty of pros. Is he going to get a shot at the pro level? I mean, I know he doesn't have elite foot speed, but he handles himself okay with a glove over at first base. He really does a nice job digging balls out of the dirt. He's got power. What do you think?
We certainly hope so. He doesn't really have the professional body of a first baseman because they want the larger frame at first base. They're going to want the guy who's 6'3" and 6'4" over there for a big target for guys to throw to. And just the law of averages. If you've got a bigger target, you've got a much better chance of cleaning stuff up on the bag. And that's kind of the prototype body of a first baseman is that longer frame. So I don't know if Tristan's going to chance or not. He's not built like that. It's not his fault, but he's certainly. I'm starting to get more questions about him from professional scouts right now with how he's playing.
He was a third baseman in junior college. Is that a possibility for him?
You mentioned the foot speed. I think that his range in professional baseball is going to be limited to the other side of the diamond. But it's for us. I mean,
his bat plays though, right?
What I always say, it's not a beauty contest, right? It's not a beauty contest. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's about playing and. I played for a coach one time. I played with a guy named Kenny Harvey, who you probably remember. Kenny Harvey played in a couple All-Star games with the Royals. He was kind of a rotund first baseman, and Kenny and I were college roommates. And Kenny was like a third rounder and played in 2 All-Star games, and he was fairly fat. And when scouts would ask him about what kind of shape he was in, he said, "Round is a shape." And so. Tristan is not fat. He's not the prototypical 6'4" first baseman. He's more of a shorter, stockier guy. But he can sure hit, and whether he's 6'4" or not, I'm sure grateful he's in our lineup right now.
I can think of a few guys that had the expansive waistlines. Some of them were pitchers. Ray King, Everyday Eddie Guardado, guys that aren't exactly chiseled, right?
That's right. It's not a beauty contest. No one goes to a major league locker room to film an underwear ad, shoot. So it takes all different shapes.
All right. So for those who did not see how the game went yesterday. You're up 6-0 after 2 innings. In the second inning, you score 6 runs off a pitcher that only gave up 1 earned run to Tennessee Tech, the first-place team in the defending champs, the week before, and you knock him for 6 earned runs there in the second inning. Unfortunately, you didn't score over the next 6 innings. And they came back and put a 5 spot on the board in the 8th inning. So all of a sudden you go from up 6-2, which was the lead you had entering the 8th inning, to down 7-6. What's the dugout like there? What's Coach Sawyer's saying to the team after the kid hit the 3-run homer to put Martin on top, or are you saying anything?
Oh, I think what you're saying and what you're thinking are completely different things. What's going through my head I probably don't want to say on the radio after the ball went over the fence to
left field.
But it's
natural you got 6 one-run losses this year, and that close. But it's almost a natural thing for at least someone in that dugout to say, "Oh, here we go again." Are you kidding?
Yeah, I'm sure all 27 men on the roster thought it, but that's the key. It's they say courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is doing what you have to do even in the presence of fear. Not that our guys were scared, but I think I said that was the first time we really responded. We punched back, and Justin Durd, if you look at his day yesterday, he had his 2 worst at-bats were his 2 first at-bats. I know he struck out once. His first at-bat, he made a ball off the end of the bat, but I'm pretty sure he punched out his first 2 at-bats. Bad at-bats. And then he goes double and then home run, his last 2 at-bats. So, for him to kind of get it back together and deal with the adversity of – strike out twice and don't get a good swing off. And the pitches he swung at were balls. So for him to get it back together and give us some good swings late in the game, that's a win for him. Whether the ball went over the fence or not, that's a win. And for us just to respond was important. So what's said in the dugout is not a lot. Here we go, man. Set it up, give us a chance, and stay with the plan. When you get like the soft tossing guy like their closer, a Heron, he'd been pretty darn good.
He had retired all 11 Red Hawks he had faced until 2 outs in the 9th inning. So 11 straight.
Yeah, so he'd been going good, but he's a soft tosser. It's not like he's throwing 95. It's human nature to I can hit this guy. I can pull him. I'm going to hit a home run, And so we say, stay with the plan. You got to take a lefty back through the middle. You're not going to try to pull everything and just stay with it. And our guys gave us good at-bats. So that's kind of just trying to – at that point, you're just trying to encourage them to do the right thing. It's not like you have to motivate them or fire them up. And if anything, in that situation, in terms of talking about your tension levels or level of excitement, you're trying to back them off a little bit, and not get them to try to do too much. But, yeah, I think what came out of my mouth and what I was thinking were two very, very different things when that ball went over the fence. But you just try to, that's the thing is we get a hit too, and while it was disappointing and frustrating to give the lead up, we were going to have a chance in the ninth inning, and we had that exact same game on Wednesday at Central Arc. We have a lead, we give it up late, and then we have a chance to respond in the ninth. And at Central Arc, we weren't able to get the big swing off. So, that's the kind of thing as I referenced earlier. It's like if you just look at our statistics per offense, defense, and pitching, we're actually doing all right. The wins and losses don't match up with that. And so what we need to do better as a group and as a coach, certainly my job is to get them in the positions for success and get them in the right spots. But, it's about doing the right thing at the right time. There's an acronym for winning, for win. Win stands for what's important now. And, that's kind of our challenge with this young team is we've got good players. It's just getting them to do the right thing at the right time, get their good swing off at the right time and stay inside of the plan and, make the play, make the pitch. And I think we're starting to grow up, we've won 2 conference series. Our kids, I promise you, they're starting to play with more confidence. We've talked a lot about expectations over the last 2 weeks. It's one thing to be a talented collection of individuals, but great teams expect to win. Every time they walk inside the gates of the field, they expect to win. It's not like, man, I hope we can win today. I hope we can win a series. It's an expectation of you feel like you're the best team on the field regardless of who you're playing, and we certainly expected to win the series this weekend. And I think kind of like them just having that feeling and that level of confidence to where no matter what the scoreboard says it was, we're going to find a way to get it done. It's kind of a step in the right direction because I think that's what's been lacking. It's not the talent level and not the ability to compete hard. Our kids have been getting after it and giving us everything they've got, but it's kind of expectation and the confidence to do the right thing at the right time.
So I know what the reaction of the dugout was when the ball goes over, and that's a 24-foot wall out there, a hitter's eye out in center field. So, that was a towering home run that Justin Durden hit. I saw the reaction of the players in the dugout. What was it like for the head coach? What's going through your mind when you see your guy step up, a guy you just brought into the program, step up and win a game with that swing? And, in your mind, you're probably thinking, that's probably a game winner. But what went through your mind when it went out?
Believe it or not, that's not what I was thinking. Because you're thinking at that point, you're thinking matchups and moves, right? So we pinch run for Gagnon. Gagnon gets the big hit up the middle. We put Devin Wilson in to run. So obviously that's the right move to make at the time because we're down a run. If we don't score, the game's over. So we have to get a better athlete out there because I think Tristan might have a hard time scoring on a triple from first base. He's not really fleet of foot.
He does have a couple of stolen bases. He would probably point that out to you.
Those are like we start him in a 3-2 count and they throw a slider in the dirt and the guy swings. But so we pinch run Devin, and off the bat, I don't think it's a home run. I think Durden has hit a line drive off that really high wall. And so I'm thinking, man, I'm glad I've got Devin Wilson in the game. We got the right guy in the game. And that ball stays up and goes over the fence. So before Devin's even scored, I'm like, you know what? We got to find another first baseman. And so I'm like, all right, Danny Wright, he's going to play first, and Devin's going to go to center. That's fine. But I had made a mistake because in that situation, when you're down 1, you always have to let the next guy know what you're going to do if we tie or take the lead. And so we had made the decision prior to the game that Aaron Stretch was going to close. And when the ball goes over the fence, it took me about 3 seconds to realize I don't have Stretch hot. And so before Durden had got to second base, I was sprinting out the backside of the dugout to make sure Stretch knew that he was in the game. And we actually took a meeting. I made Coach Ringy, our third base coach, meet with Danny Wright, who was the next hitter, to try to drag it out. And then Danny Wright gets the double. And then once Danny Wright got on base, Stretch was hot. And so we had bought ourselves enough time to get him hot. But at that point,
what you're saying, you didn't even have enough time for a fist pump?
I might have done that as I was running out of the dugout.
All right.
But that, like,
you were multitasking, but you did get a fist pump.
Well, it'd be fun to stand there and high five everybody, but like if the closer's not ready for the bottom of the ninth, I'm not doing my job. So that's really what was through my head, was making sure we had Aaron Stretch hot and making sure that Danny Wright could find the big first baseman's glove and knew where he'd go out and stand on defense. So that's actually what I was doing there after the ball went over the fence.
Now, Craig Ringy is your hitting coach. And you're looking at some of these players really starting to come along. Guys that got off to slow starts, and I think Chase Erhan would fall into that category. Now he's hitting over 370. Yeah. I mean, I think he was, maybe one for his first 15 or 17 or something like that. It was just a very slow start. How much does your hitting coach play into that? Because I know Craig Ringy works with these guys extensively.
A lot, and a lot of it at this point, we talk about a slow start. It's not that they forgot to swing the bat. If you would have saw a scrimmage our last week before the season started in January or early February, Chase Erhan looked like he could have hit 3-hole for the St. Louis Cardinals. You could not get him out. His last at-bat in our last scrimmage, he had a 12-pitch at-bat off Carlos Vega, our closer. Carlos is going 92-93. He has a 12-pitch at-bat and finishes with a home run. Like, fouls off pitches and fouled off pitches and fouled off pitches and hits a pull-side home run. So he's just going as good as you can go. And we go to college at Charleston, and he couldn't have hit water if he fell out of a boat. He was that just nervous and excited. I mean, he's a local boy. He's from Cape. He played at Notre Dame. SEMO is his dream school. He's so excited to be here. Just way too much emotion, like so excited to be at SEMO playing for us. And just completely got away from who he was. And so it was a process to kind of get him back. So a lot of that was just, the psychological piece of getting him to take a deep breath and getting him to relax. And like, Chase, by the way, who are you as a hitter? We need to go back to your strengths and not trying to do things that you're not capable of and stuff like that. And you look at him now, he's hitting 370. He might be second in the OVC in doubles, which he's starting to pick that up. And like, I think he's an elite level hitter. I think he's going to hit 400 one of his 2 years in our program. He's
closing in on 400 right now.
Yeah, I'm telling you that he has got as flat. So, Red Hawk fans know, Danny Holst was an elite, like probably 375 career batting average. Chase Erhan has that Danny Holst swing, but with a little more talent to hit. Like, he's got a little more bat speed. He has the ability to pull the ball better. He's going to have, I think, a better career with the bat than Danny Holst.
Does he have his Danny Holst eye at the plate?
Not yet. But
Holst was about as good as it got when it comes to that. He's not expanding his strike zone.
No, not yet. But I think part of that is the emotion. Like, Chase hasn't demonstrated that. But when you're super excited and a little bit too emotional, you're going to swing at too many pitches. You saw that at Charleston. I mean, he was swinging at pitches that were, feet off the plate just because he was all revved up and ramped up. But you're starting to see him slow down and just kind of stay within himself a little more. But so you've got Chase Erhan hitting 370. You've got Peyton Faulkner, who was over 400 going into Sunday's game. I don't know if he still is at 400, but
378.
Yeah, Peyton Faulkner, a sophomore from Caruthersville, got him out of the boot heel after 1 year at Jeffco. He's getting on base at an extraordinarily high clip. His on base percentage is well over 500 right now. He's doing great. And then Justin Durden, we have 3 new outfielders starting for us. Justin Durden, the third one, is ranked in the top 7 or 8 in the OVC in terms of RBIs, and he's got 3 or 4 home runs now and driving the ball. So he's coming along. So the outfielders we have 3 new starting outfielders. Those guys are starting to pick it up, and we've got a young man who I've said, since the fall that I think is going to be the freshman of the year in the OVC, Wade Stouse. Wade Stouse leads our team with 5 home runs as a true freshman, and I think he's 3rd in the OVC in home runs as a freshman. The guys in front of him are seniors and juniors, and I think he's going to have a marvelous career. He can really hit. He's got big time, like real juice, like pro ball juice. He is going to be a prodigious power hitter for us in our program. And he's hit 5 home runs. And you talk about being nervous. I mean, that guy was as cold as you can be for about 3 weeks.
I think he was hitting 128 going into the series, Coach, and he's up over 200 now.
I think he has more home runs than singles. So that gives you kind of an idea of he's been hit or miss. But he has got big time power. And he is a fantastic young man. He has got top shelf character, top shelf work ethic. he is just going to keep working until he's successful, and he's starting to kind of produce like we thought he would. So the lineup is kind of coming alive and picking it up. And we've got a couple guys that we know can do it. We've got Connor Bosler and Alex Nielsen down at the bottom that are starting to show some signs of life, and they've gotten off to slow starts. So I feel pretty darn good about where the lineup's going. And also you factor in Danny Wright, our returning freshman All-American, is just coming back from mono. He's hitting .220 with 1 extra base hit. You know he's going to perform significantly better than that over the course of the season. So you get Danny Wright healthy. Man, I think we have a chance to have a really, really good lineup before it's all said and done.
SIU Edwardsville is going to be in here this weekend. We'll talk that over with Coach Andy Sawyers. One final segment with the head coach after we take one final timeout here from Wings, etc. in Cape. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show. Back to wrap it up with Coach Sawyers after this on SEMO ESPN.
Sports. So much that we packed our walls with tons of big flat screens tuned to the very best sports programming. At Wings, etc., we love big, cooked to tender, crisp perfection wings. And so do our fans who have voted our wings best in more and more cities across the Midwest. At Wings, etc., we love beer. We love it so much that we have over 40 different kinds of beers in bottles and on tap, including your favorite regional craft beers. Wings, etc. It's not complicated, and we like it that way. Come see us today.
Hello. Don't miss Ricky Nelson Remembered, starring Matthew and Gunnar Nelson, March 31st at 6 and 8 p.m. at Isle Casino, Cape Girardeau. See the duo perform all of their father's greatest hits. Plus, enter the encore drawing after the show for a chance to win your share of $1,000. Get your tickets at the gift shop or islecape.com for Ricky Nelson Remembered at Isle Casino, Cape Girardeau. Must be 21. Any and all terms, conditions, rewards, and/or benefits published or received are subject to change or revocation without notice. Eligibility rules and exceptions apply. Refer to official promotional rules. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
Well, we're watching showers and storms this morning in eastern Oklahoma and Kansas that will march our way. Showers, a few thunderstorms possible today, high 56. Cloudy with showers tonight, low 36. A rain shower early tomorrow with clouds 46. Back to sunshine at midweek with Wednesday's high 51. Richard DeWethick at the Weather Channel.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network.
This is Mike Greenberg for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
Welcome back. It is the Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau. Don't forget, we'll be back in Jackson next week, 12 noon. We'll be at the Jackson location at Wings, etc. And don't forget, Mondays mean 69 cents for the award-winning jumbo wings here at Wings, etc. The Red Hawks football coach joined us a little earlier. Coach Tom Matukowicz. Spring ball gets underway today. Don't forget the spring game will be April 14th this year. And we're talking with the Red Hawks baseball coach, Andy Sawyers, getting ready to head to Springfield to take on the Missouri State Bears. I think it's a fair statement to say this will be the best team probably that you have played so far this year when you take on Missouri State tomorrow.
Without a doubt, they always have a very good team with a great pitching staff, and they've got a first-rounder. Their shortstop, Jeremy Ironman, is probably going to be in the mid-20s picks in terms of the Major League Draft this coming June. So they've got one superstar bat, and they've got a really good pitching staff. So, yeah, it's going to be a good game. I'm excited about it.
You know, there were several years when previous years with Southeast where you watch the two teams play and you say, boy, there are several SEMO players that would start for Missouri State that are better than the guys that they've got. I mean, like 3 and 4 and maybe even 5 guys. The difference was the pitchers. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was a tangible difference. I mean, when Lucchese was here and some of those guys, I mean, they could match up. But for the most part, that is what has made Missouri State the powerhouse program. Keith Gutton knows how to recruit pitchers.
And if you look at the roster, what they've done is they've just done a great job in St. Louis. I mean, they've got so many good players out of St. Louis over the years that they've been able to develop. And that's kind of when we got here to SEMO, a year and a half ago, that was kind of what we decided we wanted to do. We wanted to recruit the players that Missouri State has been taking over the years. Because if you look at these kids in high school, yeah, they're good, but they're not. It's not as if they're beating 5 SEC schools on them. You know, it's not like they're recruiting. it's not like these guys are all throwing 95 in high school, right? They're taking just the good high school player, and they're developing them. And that's kind of what we've tried to do, and we're really excited about some of our freshmen we've been able to sign for next year. This incoming class is the first group that we've had a chance to impact with the high school recruits, and we actually have a high school catcher that we beat, Mizzou on, that got a scholarship offer from the University of Missouri that chose to come to SEMO. We're excited about him. We've got a couple arms that are profile guys. We actually got a commitment from a left-hander out of St. Louis that Coach Gutton was on his way to see the next week when he committed to us, and he kind of like we saw Coach Gutton, and he was like, "That was a good job, Andy. That's good." He's like, so we're trying to. Not saying we're trying to model it after them, but we're trying to get into the market of where they're getting their players from. We're trying to recruit the best high school players we can from the Boot Heel and from St. Louis, and we're trying to maybe get more of a high school feel where we can grow these kids up and coach them for 3 and 4 years instead of 1 and 2 with talented junior college players. So when you look at kind of the success that Missouri State and Coach Gutton has had over the years, they've done very, very well in the high school ranks, and we're starting to push back against them a little bit. And some of those kids that maybe would be, bears in the past, we're trying to get to come to SEMO out of high school. So we're excited with where it's heading, and that's kind of for us. I think that's probably the better model than what maybe trying to model ourselves after Missouri State makes a lot more sense than model ourselves off of Missouri for in terms of recruitment and that sorts of things. So they've done a fantastic job, and realistically, they've been the most winning program in the state for the last decade for sure. So we're excited to play him, and Coach Gutton is a good friend, and we talked this morning on the phone, and I'm excited to see him and play against him. So yeah, it's going to be a good matchup.
Well, they may play in a professional stadium, but game day atmosphere, they don't feel that thing, man, and it's not. I mean, you can hear mom, yelling from the stands. That's about the game day atmosphere they've got there. Nothing like a warm summer day at Capitol Hall.
That's the thing. It's like it's great to play in a AA ballpark, but if there's 5,000 empty seats, it's not a great atmosphere, even though it's a beautiful park. So
you'll see there's no atmosphere there.
That's what I think is really awesome about SEMO and Capitol and playing in Cape Girardeau is just the atmosphere and the fans, and just it's really unique. We love playing at home. We love our fans, and we love playing at home, and just we feel very, very fortunate and blessed to have the atmosphere that we do here in town.
All right, and we'll get to see that atmosphere this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, SIU Edwardsville, and it starts Friday night, 6 o'clock with a tailgate, which always adds to the atmosphere.
That's right. We're looking forward to that, and hopefully, the long-range forecast I was looking at this morning, and there's that nasty rain icon on Friday. So I'm hoping we don't have to move anything and change game times like we had to last weekend. But if we do, then we just have to do what's in the best interest of getting the games played without a break. But hopefully that thing comes off without a hitch. We get to have the tailgate Friday night with a great crowd.
If it does look bad on Friday, though, you wouldn't hesitate doubleheader Saturday. Let's see if we can get a tailgate Saturday or something.
Wouldn't hesitate, or with and granted, we're a few days away, so it's hard to get super specific with the hourly, but it looks like we'd be okay Friday afternoon. So maybe rather, instead of playing a doubleheader, we could play earlier in the day at Friday, maybe play a 3 o'clock game, and then maybe have the tailgate on Saturday afternoon, because Saturday is supposed to be a pretty good day.
Well, that's one thing with SIUE. I mean, it's not like they're coming from 7 hours at Jacksonville, Alabama. I mean, they're just a couple hours up the road.
That's right, and they're coming up the day of the game, so we'll be able to make it work.
It's outstanding. All right, we'll be traveling to Springfield later today, and that's where we'll see you tomorrow, Missouri State. Thanks so much for joining us, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Coach Andy Sawyers, and that is going to do it here for the Redhawks Coaches Show. Thanks again to Coach Tom Matukowicz. Don't forget the Kids Clinic coming up at Houck Stadium from 10 until noon this Saturday. Boys and girls are invited. Free T-shirt, free lunch. Redhawks will practice from 8 to 10, and then the clinic, the Redhawk players will be helping with the clinic from 10 until noon. Certainly hope you take advantage of that. And don't forget Redhawk baseball tomorrow at 3 o'clock at Missouri State. And then this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it'll be the SIU Edwardsville Cougars will be in town for a 3-game series. So we'll get you back to ESPN radio programming. And don't forget, we'll be in the Jackson location of Wings, etc. for next Monday's Coaches Show. So long, everybody, from Wings.
Southeast Missouri's ESPN Radio Sports Network, 92.9 KLSC Malden, 1220 KGIR Cape Girardeau, and 1470 KMAL Malden. It's a summer class of Major League Baseball All-Star Game.
The National Pass.
Catch it all right here on ESPN 1220 GIR. Kate Gerardo.
Shot. Off balance. Off the